Alright, so part 2 of this build, by the way. Hello, welcome. Yeah, it's really late. It is like, let's see, it is 2:05 in the morning, and I'm starting to build this. So here we have my processor. I said last video I was getting a 5800X. Due to shortages and the fact that it was a lot more expensive for very little performance, I've gone for the 3800 XT, which will work just straight out of the box in this motherboard. This is the MSI B550 gaming Wi-Fi, gaming carbon Wi-Fi I should say. This is a good board. It supports PCIe Gen 4 and yeah, it is also compatible with this straight away. There's also a couple of lights and stuff on this, which is pretty cool. And then to cool this 3800 XT, because there is no cooler in the box, they just fill it in with cardboard. The liquid cooling system is the Decool Castle 360X. I don't think I'm fitting these sets of fans in as well as these, so we've seen these in the last part. I just got a third pack for Christmas. So also, there's my dogs. So if you like dogs, great, fantastic. They're asleep because it's late. So we're going to get that done here in this video, and I will also transfer the RAM in here. I'll show you the RAM before I put it in, but I'll show you the RAM and then I'll plug it in, and then I won't be transferring a whole lot right now. I'll probably work until about 3 in the morning and then call it for the day, and then go back and take the power supply and stuff like that. I'll probably plug in the extension cables as well. I'll show you the extension cables when I get to those though. Alright, so here is the Ryzen 7 3800 XD. It is an 8-core 16-thread processor. I think you can pick one up for like £320 right now. This is the motherboard we're going into. If you've ever seen a motherboard or a CPU installation, I am going to see if I can one-hand this. I don't think I can. So, you can see there's this socket here. It might be a little bit dark, sorry about that. There is this socket here for the CPU. There is a bar on this that folds up like so. And if you look really closely here, you will see there is a slight, tiny little triangle right here on the processor. There is a very tiny little triangle as well. It's a little gold triangle. It's on this corner right there. What I like to do with the Ryzen CPUs is, because I've watched so many videos on it, if you actually look at the way they're installed, there's a lot of gold pins on this, by the way. A lot of gold pins. I'm not sure how many. I'll have to look that up. But because of the way the socket is on the board, this big thick part of the socket on top, if you actually just line the name up with that, just drop it into place, give it a little wiggle, make sure it's in place, and then push the why isn't this focusing? I'm going to focus this first, and then you push the arm of that down until it clicks, and that is your CPU installed. Alright, so next is time to install the SSD. So this is an NVMe SSD. It's only a PCI Express Gen 3 for you techies out there. It is a 1TB from Silicon Power. I'm transferring it from my old PC. I'm doing this now because it's going to be the easiest time to do it. Why does this not lock on focus? Okay, so to do this, you line it up with the notch in the slot. You line it up with the notch there. You push it in at, like, they say a 30-degree angle, and then you push it down, and there's a screw that you mount it with here. So that is actually on this little bracket for me that I took off before doing this, and there's actually a thermal pad there which I'm going to take off. Not the pad, the protective film. I'm just going to take off this little protective film, and from there I should be able to screw this back down. So I'm going to see if I can one-hand this like a beast. Oh, what a legend. So cool. Oh yeah. Like so. And now, with that, I should be able to, whoops, the screwdriver, electric screwdriver gang. Okay, that's that in, and now for that side I shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have done it so much. Okay, for the other side, sorry, my camera work is shocking, it's very difficult trying to do this. And yeah, I just straight up dropped that. It looks like everything's okay, I think we're fine. But yeah, let's get on to the RAM. Alright, so for the RAM, I'm going to be installing 32 gigs of G.Skill Trident C RGB RAM. You can't see it, it's out of focus at the moment because I'm trying to keep the motherboard in focus. So to install RAM, there's a notch on either side. Sometimes it's only on one side, but there's a notch on either side of the slot, and there's a notch in the center. What you're going to do is line it up and give it a firm push until each side clicks closed, and that is that. So I'm going to do that 4 more times now. It should be relatively quick. This is 32 gigs at what are we talking? I think it's 3000, but one kit doesn't do quite the same as the other, so I'm only running at 3000, I think. The other kit does 3200 because I got it just as cheap because RAM prices were really low at the time. Not as low anymore, they're starting to hike it a bit back up. Now, I don't understand why this RAM in particular makes it look like, between the kits, makes it look like the kits are kind of different in where the lights are, and some lights look higher than others, and you end up with this really strange looking set of lights, and it really bugs me. It doesn't bug a lot of people, I don't think, but it bugs me in particular. Just, I don't know, it's like a bit of an OCD thing. As you can see what I mean, if you look here, the top of this RAM stick, I'm trying to focus here, sorry, maybe I need to be higher. Yeah, so the top of this RAM stick in the middle is higher than these two, and this one here is also higher than this one here, so it's kind of a bit annoying. But as far as motherboard assembly goes, we are good. So let's get this into the case now, or actually let's mount a liquid cooler. For this one, I'm just gonna have to explain this one. So the CPU cooler comes with a big mountain bracket. This is the AMD side, this is the Intel side. We're using an AMD CPU, this thing here. So for this, these brackets need to get removed, and this bracket needs to go in at the back. So I don't have an angle to time lapse it, and this is also a bit more complicated than a one-hander. So I'm just going to do it, and I'll be back to you in a second. There's the lighting. Well, if you actually look in here, there is a Deepcool logo, and you're like, oh no, it's upside down. Well, the magic of this cooler is that you can just flip the logo over and put it back in. Isn't that nice? And then you have this invisible mirror effect on the cooler, which is pretty cool. You also can put your own so the cooler comes with like another little acrylic sheet. I don't know why this thing cannot focus for its life, but it also comes with another little acrylic sheet that you can customize yourself and put your own stuff on. I haven't thought of any designs or anything yet, so if you have any ideas, let me know. Also, I have noticed the Lian Li case, you'll even notice it on camera, the Lian Li case and this radiator are not the same colour. It will be fine with lights, so I'm not too worried about it, but the hue on this is so much warmer. It's almost like an off-white, like like you left white in the sun for a while. And then this is a very cool, even white. To be honest, if I was to give it like a hue, I'd give this Lian Li one a slightly reddish tint, and this a slightly greenish tint. You could probably catch that in the video. It's kind of accurate on camera. It's not the most accurate thing ever. Also for fans, it comes with fans, but we're going to be replacing those with these Corsair fans. So I'm very interested to see how you connect 3 fans to the one CPU thing. That always kind of made my head go a bit weird. Sorry, I'm not pointing the camera where I should be. It's 3 AM. I'll work for a little bit longer just to get this part sorted, but I'm not finishing this build until tomorrow, which is like Christmas afternoon, I would say. Like Christmas morning, as opposed to like midnight Christmas morning. So, yeah, I'm going to get this all mounted in the case. I'm going to get the fans mounted on here, and we're going to mount the radiator and connect these little bits up, these tiny little bits, and then I'll call it the night for that. So yeah, let's do it. Alright, so that was very difficult for some reason. Same sort of reason as last time actually. So these fans are just, they're not terrible, but my gosh, those cables are just so stiff. Like, it's unbelievable how stiff they are. It's so bad that you can't like get the fans correctly mounted properly without using like a lot of force just to push them against each other. And I don't know if that's going to create like vibration and stuff. What I will say though, is it does sort of look spectacular. Sorry for the torch in the background, but I needed it to try and see through the hole. But yeah, this is about to get mounted in the case now, so I will do that now. Okay, finally done that part. Next part is to take this radiator, which is pretty beefy. We're going to mount it in the radiator in the top here. We're going to mount it in the top here, I should say. Alright, so here's how we're looking so far now at this stage. So, got the radiator mounted. I may have to completely flip this. I don't want to admit defeat on that one yet, but these pipes are very long, which is kind of a bit of an issue. I'm going to install the graphics card first. That's the last thing we're going to do in this video. To do that, by the way, for this case, we'll be taking out the second PCI slot here, and the third one. And for that, just pull these out. But yeah, just take a bit of wiggling to get out. And now we have space for the graphics card, so let me just go get that really quickly. Okay, so this is the Commander Pro from Corsair. It allows you to put up to 6 PWM fans in there, which is great because I have 6 left over from this. We already plugged these in, and it has 2 USBs, which is great for the lighting hub because that runs off of USB. So for this setup, I'm going to need 2 of these. This is a lighting node core, and there's like 3M tape in the back so you can stick it somewhere. And the same with this one, so 2 of these, and then this as well, which should be enough for, well, it should be enough for all the fans on my case. So yeah, let's get started with that anyway. Alright, so here's the SATA SSDs that I'll be putting in. They're from my old computer. Have this 1 year, nearly 4 years now, I'd say. It's been great. It's a really good SSD. It's a Crucial MX300. I recommend Crucial drives in general. They're pretty good. And this other one is an ADATA SU800. This is a 960 gig. I think this is a 750. Might be a 520. No, it's a 750 gig. So I have a lot of SSD storage. Tried to keep everything on SSDs because hard drives just really annoy me. So I'll also be putting a hard drive in anyway because, as some of you guys will know, I take some photos on the side, so it's good to have the hard drive there just to chuck everything that isn't like a program or something. Just chuck all the files there. I can even put college files on there, like bits of code and stuff that I have to do, or projects, maybe even videos or something. I can stick on a hard drive instead of an SSD, because it's much easier on the storage anyway if you do that. So yeah, I'm gonna get these installed anyway. These get installed onto these little brackets, or this little bracket I should say, and the holes here should line up. I think this is incorrect, so these little rubber ones here, these ones need to be moved to the smaller ones. I think this is for like a big hard drive, but we're not going to be mounting that in that part of the case anyway, in this part of the case. So these little rubber things are going to pop out, and I'm going to put it down in here. So yeah, 2 seconds. Okay, so we're kind of a little bit messy, but like the table and everything's a bit messy. This is ready to go, so I'm going to go and test it, and then I will show you guys the final results. Alright guys, so I'm about to power this on to show you. I've already checked to see if it posts. It does post, but let's see if I can find the button now. Once I find the button, I will turn it on. Wow, this button's hard to find. There we go. It's not actually that loud, it's just ramping up for the first couple of goes. There we go. That's more like it. This does post, as you can see. Keyboard and mouse come on, and we get an MPG logo from MSI, and this will probably go into the BIOS, I'm not sure. I might just boot straight into Windows because I have Windows on the SSD. But yeah, this is my PC. Yeah. So no, it's going into Windows. That's fair enough. But yeah, hope you like this, guys. I'm gonna mess around with the light and get it to where I want to be. I will see you guys in the next one. Yeah, have a good one.